Hey, Garrett. All right. I apologize. I didn't get to this a little bit sooner, but anyway, so I'm gonna mostly uh, try to keep this pretty short. So 15-minute time frame and regular trading hours. So the what I do is I look at electronic trading hours on the 1-minute chart to see where we are currently trading. So these octants right here prior to the open, these octants right here were this high, like we talked about, to this low for obvious reasons. Market had not opened, most recent or the nearest swing high and the nearest swing low. So then what I do is I still try to have some sort of a bias of what I think is going to happen, but because I don't know what's going to happen, I try to set it up to where my chart is not my chart has pertinent things on it to where if I'm wrong, I can still trade. So I go above price, above this high. So basically all that matters is this swing high, this swing low. As long as we're trading in here and open in here, that's all that matters as far as octants go. So then I go above this, what do I have? And when I go all the way back, it takes us back to regular trading hours, 15-minute chart. We have a swing high Thursday, the 2nd, right there. We have a 15-minute BC right there. That since we're above price could be an inversion. And then we have a swing high there. And then this right here, this is fake. This is once the day has closed, once this day has closed, this is technically when this day happened. That's the opening range gap. The way I look at it is once the day has closed and the day is over, there would be a candle right here. But it would be more like this candle. Trades down. So that would make this come on. That makes this a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Yes, I still call it an opening range gap because that's how I refer to it, but I mark it out as it's a sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency because you have to view it as there's a candle right here, which once this is all closed, once this day is closed and you're not worried about, you know, this trading has already happened. While this day is underway, we treat it as the market just ran down here, and so then we're worried about this trading. But once this closes, now I view it as a SIBI. So you can see here, not this is actually totally irrelevant, but it's going to add to it. You can see here on the day of, we couldn't make it to consequent encroachment. We barely made it, couldn't quite make it to the lower quadrant, and the body stayed right there. So so on this day, we couldn't make it up any further. You can see I added the octants to it. So when you come to today, regardless of whether you had a bias or not, that's one thing. But from a bias perspective, electronic trading hours, weekly high, weekly low, lower quadrant, equilibrium, upper quadrant, weekly high. Yesterday was mainly up. So my draw, assuming I was correct, my draw was at least lower quadrant. It was this, and then potentially down into this balanced price range. But like I said, regardless of whether that's what actually happened, I have enough stuff on my chart that I don't need to be right. I just need to see what the market does and have the correct things on there to actually take a trade. So on the 15-minute chart, when we have our first 15-minute candle, that opens and wicks up, does not take out our buy side yet, where we have our fib anchored to. So basically does not take out the most recent salient 15-minute swing high, and then trades down. Next candle opens, takes out not only sell side, but that candle, and closes. Neither one of the bodies are able to get into this old opening range gap or this regular trading hours SIBI. Aside from that, again, we're just looking at regular trading hours. What messed you up was there was electronic trading hours high in here that you felt might need to be taken. Anyway, so this is the 9:30 to 9:45 candle. 9:45 candle takes out all pertinent sell side and the first 15-minute candle of the opening range, and then is also a down close and also a change in the stated delivery right here. So that's how I was framing it, and that's what I was looking at. So from here on the 15-minute chart, not even going to the 1-minute chart, sell side is 100% taken. Regular trading hours, higher time frame, 15-minute bellwether chart, sell side or buy side is taken. We've had the third attempt to get into up past this range right here, or at least to consequent encroachment of this, what was an opening range gap now is a SIBI. Beings that regular trading hours, this right here is going to be a pertinent PD array because it was the fair value gap formed just before this buy side was taken out. So when we drag that across, and again, I just go above price and go, what are the few things that are above me and what are the few things that are below me that are pertinent? And then I don't necessarily have to worry about being right on my bias. Because if any of this price action here in these first 30 minutes had changed and traded up and closed above this fair value gap, it's no longer inversion. It's a reclaimed bullish 15-minute buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Then I would look at here, here, and consequent encroachment of this regular trading hours, old opening range gap, or now SIBI. So if you go back and you probably don't remember it, but the details into the inner workings of these two candles and liquidity taken and a down close. If we go to the 1 minute chart and look at it, and this is where really kind of tearing this down apart looks good. Actually, before we even get to that, let's do this. So as we're sitting here right now, here was the 9:30 open. The 15-minute swing high that we had anchored to has not been taken out yet. So this is the 1 minute chart. This right here is the midnight open range for the current day that we're trading in. So when I said you're not wrong for going long here, with the proper context, if you have potentially the proper things on your chart, regular trading hours, higher time frame, yes, I completely understand the premise of you going short here. But when you, especially when you have a, let's see, 241 to 208, so what is that, a 30 some handle opening range gap? Not very big, not very big at all. But you can see the relevance of having regular trading hours 1 minute charts real close to you. Here's a wick at 4:01. p.m. yesterday. So understanding that regular trading hours, 100%, you can, if you get used to it and can completely not rely on, you can rely on electronic trading hours for whatever it is that helps you make sense, or to be able to, however you view trading, to look at it from a perspective of, okay, what have we done for the day so far, what have you. You can do all that. But the reality of it is that when the minute 9:30 ticks, it goes back to a narrative of regular trading hours previous day. And that the reason I say this is a classic one, or a good one to go over, is because it's so close here, because you don't have a 150 handle or 40 handle or 80 handle, bigger than this opening range gap. So inversion, it traded down into this inversion fair value gap and was short of this, fell short of this low, and then this low, and obviously didn't get to where what I was thinking was going to be the draw. But again, when you have the proper stuff on your chart, you can go, it doesn't really matter whether I'm right or wrong. Let's just see what happens. So anyway, so this is right where you went short in here, and that's where I'm saying, if you have the overall bias, there's nothing wrong with that trade, as long as you would have to go, again, this is not optimal, but just to make the, if you had everything else being equal and had this higher time frame, old opening range gap and SIBI, and knowing that we only need to go here, I guess what I'm saying is that you could, if you had gone short right here, the only way to do that and be okay with it would be for you to go short here and then go, Yep, no problem. The narrative is it's not running down where I think it's going to go right now. So worst case scenario, yes, I'm going to have a big stop, but it probably doesn't need to go there because my electronic trading hours is there, and all it needs to do is, or my regular trading hours, higher time frame, 5 minute is there. Sorry, my regular trading hours, 15-minute swing high is there, and in the past it's shown that we cannot get above the lower quadrant other than that one time into we got one time up into this lower quadrant, have never made it to consequent encroachment, failed to get it here, inversion fair value gap. From a weekly perspective, regular trading hours, 1 minute chart. Here's my high, lower quadrant, or upper quadrant, equilibrium, lower quadrant. So I'm really, 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 really expecting it to go down here. So if, that's what I was saying, taking that long is not bad if you had a little bit of a different view on it and didn't get lost in the sauce. Taking that long to take this out, beautiful, beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. You just have to understand that that's probably as high as it's going. So taking this long to run up to buy side that's up here, not having this opening range gap on there, and also having maybe too much stuff or the not enough pertinent stuff to quickly lose your bias that you're looking for lower prices. So anyway, so short here, your stop obviously would have had to go. You had to have been with it to go, okay, granted, I'm looking for lower prices. I went short there. The narrative is it's going to run up here, take out this again, or take out the 9:30 open price and previous day's high regular trading hours. And then it's going to go down to where my price is. So I entered early. Like I just got to. I'm gonna have to just if I don't want to stop. If I don't want to close it, I'll just move my stop up. Or, but if you had that potentially anyway, you get what I'm saying. And then I think your other trade was, well, it doesn't matter. Whoops, your other trade's kind of irrelevant. Let's look at this. So what I was saying was, if you look at it from this perspective, so if we go, here's the opening price at 9:30, and then we go to 9:44 closes. So opening price, and then 9:44 closes right there. So, and then we go 9:45 opens and closes right there. So I'm going to make that one a little bit darker. Let me make it actually not do that. I'm going to make it this color. So then we go from here to there. Let's do that. And then we go from here So this is the body of the first 15-minute candle. This is the upper wick. This is the lower wick. The second 15-minute candle opens, takes out this previous high of this 15-minute candle and this buy side. And then this is the wick of that candle and closes right here. So what you have is buy side taken, 15-minute body change in the state of delivery right here the minute this candle closes. So so that right there is a 15-minute liquidity taken, significant buy side taken, and a change in the state of delivery on the 15-minute chart. So, which looks like that's what you're looking at. Buy side taken, change in the state of delivery, and a down close. So the reason I talk about being a down close is because not only it's not it's so it's a it can be it's still going to give you the same thing, but you can have a buy side taken and a change in the state of delivery by a wick that comes down. But this might be an up, this actually could end up being an up close candle. So then at that particular point, you're going to wait. It's the down close candle that's going to give you that will give you the official change in the state of delivery. So if this had wicked below this opening price of this candle and still closed down, but the close was above the open of this candle, it's still bearish. But having this scenario where not only does it take buy side, but it closes a body below this and a down close. Obviously, it would have to be a down close that you close the body before it. That's like IC talks about lead pipe since trade. It's going that way. So aside from just these two candles and that market structure taking that buy side, when you add in 15-minute inversion fair value gap, buy side taken, bodies not willing to go up into that gap, and last night you were already looking for lower prices. That's why I say at that moment, when this candle opens, right there, oops, 10 a.m., all of that is a green light, go, sell short. Any bit of that. If you're not 100% sure, then this candle, as it trades up, knowing that your draw is at least down here and down here, waiting for this to close at 10:15 and this candle to open and trade up, still a perfectly viable, absolutely 100% good entry. So that's why I say anything above the 10 o'clock price, but on what was given this morning, anything above the 10 o'clock price is a sell. So even if you sold right here, your stop would have to be right there. So But let's break it down a little bit further. Keep moving this too far. So at this point right here, at 10 o'clock open, I'm going to make that 10 o'clock open bigger. At that moment right there, the only thing that's changed, this low has not changed, and we have not taken out this low of our 15-minute. The only thing that's changed is this high right here has been taken out. So the only adjustment that I would make to anything on my chart is I would take this regular trading hour buy side liquidity is the next 15-minute swing high. So the only change I would make to get accurate octants for PD arrays on the 1 minute chart is I would move, come on, I would move that to right there. That's the only thing that I would do. So now going back to kind of how you had, I think you understand what I'm saying right here as far as how to really view this. So so going back to, well, let me do this. I'm gonna take this stuff off here. It's getting a little bit busy, but you get the point as from a visual perspective. So let's take this off. This is on here if you, again, from a scout perspective going this way. So this is why I called you this morning when I was chuckling at you. I was chuckling at you in a loving way, not because ha 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 ha, but because when you look at it from this perspective, using regular trading hours and not electronic trading hours and the other stuff that you had on there, and you have this BZ on here, you have this inversion fair value gap, and kind of the whole picture. So anyway, so these are irrelevant right now. I'm going to take them off. That's the only reason I had them on there. So let's see here. So this green is our opening range gap. So if we look at it from this perspective and know that last night when we went to bed, we were looking for lower prices. So far everything up here, nothing has changed up here that has told us that we are looking for higher prices yet, because we still have nothing above a 15-minute BC. We have from a 15-minute perspective, we have no bodies getting inside this gap, and so far we haven't taken out this high until right here. So once we take this high out, take out this, then the only thing I did was move my octants to here. Let me get rid of this stupid thing. This should be these octants, and this octant here, I might have actually moved it. This octant right here is the quadrants on this gap. So don't let that confuse you. In fact, let me do this. There. So the solid lines are that gap. My 15-minute high and low goes from here. As soon as that's taken out right there, then I simply move it to this line right there to get the next swing high. So now, when we're right here, the range that I'm working in is from here to here. That's the only range that I'm working in. So when you have when you have your 30-minute range on there, you have to look at it and go, okay, so the very first thing that we talked about before is now, so once 9:59 happens and 10 o'clock closes, okay, so now what's the first thing that we go to? Session highs and lows. Okay, that's great. So within session highs and lows, what is the very next thing that we would have? Because the very next thing outside of session highs and lows right here, the very next thing is going to be either 15-minute swing high, 15-minute swing low, right there. Those are the very next things outside of this right here. So while this is a good trade to go long here, let's forget you're short here, but that's why this would be a good trade to go long to get to AM buy side and regular trading hours buy side, knowing that we didn't quite hit this inversion fair value gap yet, and knowing that the buy side that we're actually looking for to be purged before we get to where our draw is right there and it has not hit yet. This would be a great scalp to there, but not expect it to go further. So when we're here and 9:59 happens, now it's session liquidity, and then our very next outside of that is either this or this. That's it. So when you're right here, when you are, I'm just going to go over a couple things with you here. So at this particular point right here, when we're trading up in here and you were looking at this to go short, again, I'm not trying to dog your trade. I'm just looking at it going, at this particular point at 9:40, we still are only 10 minutes into our 30-minute opening range. And since, yes, we're making an opening range, but that opening range has not been consummated yet because it's not closed, then we're looking at, we only have this and this that guide our high and low range. This and this until this 30-minute range closes. This is what we're looking at, is this high and low. So right here, we look down at this and go, we did not make it to the consequent encroachment of this, and we have a change in the state of delivery, and we have a inversion fair value gap from the other day, and we have a small fair value gap on an octant. So what could potentially our deal be? And because this range is not consummated yet, we have no idea. Maybe this range ends up being all the way up to consequent encroachment of this gap. We don't know. We have no idea at this point what this range is actually going to be, other than that we expect lower prices. But this is not consummated yet. So prior to this being on here, you're basically looking at this right here, blind. So at this point, we are expecting lower prices, but we don't have a range yet. So our own a 30-minute range yet. So our only range is actually, because this hasn't been taken out yet, so I got a little bit ahead of myself. So our range is there and there, or geez, there and there. This is the only thing that matters, is this right here. Is that this is our range at the moment. At this particular time, this is our only range because this 30-minute range has not closed and been consummated yet. So when you're down here, yes, we're looking for lower prices, but when you're down here, we don't have a closed range yet. Basically what you look at is that we opened and we did not take down this high, and what did we do? We traded down below equilibrium of this high to this low, and optimal trade entry right there, long, to take that out. So aside from optimal trade entry, that doesn't really matter. What I'm saying is, because I'm not saying that's, you should look at that as optimal trade entry, go long. What I'm saying is that until this 30-minute range is consummated on the regular trading hours, New York Open 15-minute chart, this is our range right here. That's it. There to there. Nothing more. Until either this is taken out or our 30-minute opening range closes or whatever. So with you, so anyway, so that's what I wanted to say. So I don't want to go back and talk about you going short right there, because that could potentially be, you could have gone short there and it could have ran down. But my point is that until this 30-minute range closes, this is what you need to use. So if you are looking at potentially going short here, look at it and go, okay, if I don't want to lose my idea of that I had last night of lower prices, then what does this actually need to do on the 1-minute chart before it actually can go lower? That potentially would be that regular trading hours 15-minute buy side would probably want to be purged. So therefore, if this is going this way, it's possible that it may want to go to the upper end of this range first. Remember, there needs to be, before we're looking at anything to go lower, generally you're, significantly lower, you're looking for some sort of 15-minute time frame liquidity purged. So anyway, that's getting into theory or whatever. The biggest thing I want you to realize and understand is that before, until this 30-minute range closes, this is the only range that matters. Now, the caveat to that is, obviously, if you're going to use if you're not using this range, the way that I've been trading is, this is the only range that matters. Let me put it that way, because it condenses everything down to, it gives me octants and quadrants that are very compressed with higher time frame pools of liquidity that are very pertinent on the regular trading hours time frame. That's probably the correct way for me to say it. There could be other quadrants that you use. For me, this is how I view it. This and this, until this 30-minute range closes, this is the only thing that I go off of. So that's the bigger thing that I wanted to show you right here, is that when you're looking at this and going long right here, you're still, these would be the quadrants that you would be looking at, and you're looking at, I'm sorry, not long, but short here, when really I'm looking for lower, but really what you're doing is you traded down into, because this is basically your range, you traded down into, let's do this again. If I take this high to low and run these over, we traded down into, we have this high, they came down into this here and created this low, and in regular trading hours, sell side was taken right there yesterday. That was sell side from 1240. So basically all that's happened, and this is where figuring out and seeing being able to envision, and how do you meld together one day to the next regular trading hours wise, is that yesterday we ripped up, traded down here yesterday, and with this wick right here at the end of the day, and took out this sell side, this sell side, this sell side, and then it traded back up, traded back down to this sell side, to this line, but did not take out anything right here, and then trades back up, takes out all of this, and then it's free to go lower. So melding it together like that is one of the things that when I say I've been working on trying to be able to look at the chart and see the how it works together to be able to go, okay, that I have this big 100 handle gap. When that gap went up, it's like a candle. What did we take out? Regular trading hours. So where potentially could it retrace to before it goes higher? Probably some sort of a discount before whatever swing highs were inside that big gap that gapped up. So anyway, that's why I'm uh, that's what I'm referring to. So being able to look at this and go, this is what happened yesterday. Big trade up, you know, this rally up, traded down. We didn't go down anywhere to the near the low of it. We didn't even get down to this, like I said on the 15-minute chart. This is that this balanced price range right here. 1-minute chart, this is that balanced price range. So we traded up yesterday, regular trading hours, traded down here. Probably a little bit more than an optimal trade entry. Came down here. So basically this has not been taken out and this has not been taken out. Here we came down at the end of the day yesterday and took out this, and this. And so this trades down to not quite consequent encroachment of this wick, but this level here of this lowest low that was taken out. So basically it opens up, fails to take buy side, trades down to an old low that was purged yesterday, rallies back up, takes out the entire buy side, and then is free to go lower. So when this 30-minute range has not closed yet, that's why looking at this to this and the octants in there is what you need to look at and frame off of until this new 30-minute range closes. So again, I'm not trying to dog you, but I'm not disagreeing with your market structure theory of going short as this is trading back up to the fair value gap to get to the lower prices that you're looking for. I'm not saying that market structure thought is bad. The narrative around that is where you were off the trail a little bit. Doing it right there, you would have been right in the middle of the stinking trail and ripped what you were looking for. So that's what I'm trying to actually say. So anyway, let me close this video up because it's already taken a little bit longer. But let's go back up to here. Let's leave those octants big. So during your video, you were talking about potentially, I think, looking for this here. So I think you had this gap on here, and you're like, I'm interested to see if this is treated as an inversion fair value gap. Now, keep in mind that the minute this buy side is taken out, I move my octants. Come on, you little scoundrel. To the next 15-minute swing high. So now that lays this octant over this one that you were expecting to be an inversion fair value gap. Once 10 o'clock opened and rallied back up, it left another one that's laid across this octant, the same octant. So you have another inversion fair value gap right there, both of which are, this one is touching the octant. Oh no, that's the 930 open, so that's not touching the octant. So both of which are on this octant. That if from a narrative perspective and from a 15-minute time frame perspective, that the minute this closes right here, anything above 10 o'clock is a sell. Stop goes above here or wherever. Then trying to get the, the highest, the best price possible, knowing that we're expecting lower prices. Here's the 10 o'clock open of the 15-minute candle. So let's see here. Let's go this, all of this right here. So this is our new candle right here. So we're basically looking for anything above this, anything from here up. We're looking for a place to get short. And so you have that inversion on those octants that you could use. You have this one on this octants that you could use. So, but like I said, even waiting for 10:15, waiting for 10:14 right here to close, even if you waited for that, 10:14, here's 10:15. Oops, let me fix this real quick. So we can go 15-minute open. Oh my gosh. Clicking the wrong one. 15-minute open right there. Even if you had done that, you still have a down close. You have, here's where the candle opened, here's where it closed. So you have a down close candle. So anything above this price right here at 10:15, boom, market opens, trades up, down. Even if you don't, this is what I was saying earlier, even if you don't buy that, but if you wait for the second candle of a 15-minute time frame, go, here's our open. So here's the high of the first candle. Here's the low of the first candle. Good Lord, I got to get rid of these. Let's take 10 a.m. off of there. Here's where it opened. Let's make this blue. Blue. So this is kind of a little bit of whatever I was referring to when I was talking about taking a trade, in the first like 3 or 4 minutes of the 9:30 open. You're trading for the first 15 minutes of 9:30, you're trading a 15-minute candle, which has a lot of volatility. So this candle opens right here. Let the first 1 minute candle of a 15-minute time frame close. Then look at the second candle. Here's the open. So it opens, trades up, opens, manipulates. Power 3 goes up, below it, trades below the low of this one. That's bearish. So even if you wait for the second candle and then jam it, when this jams up, sell that. You still have a phenomenal, very conservative, educated entry, even just to get to, well, even if you wanted to go to there, 37 handles in 2 minutes. and then whatever your actual buy side or your sell side target was, but you can see what you get out of it, even if you don't get any of this up in here. So so the takeaway is, in my opinion, the bigger thing is to remember is that I'm going to actually do this and go back to the 1 minute chart. Let's take this off. I'm going to turn this into our 30-minute range. So let me take this off. This off. I'm even going to take the, no, I'll leave the opening range gap on there. So I think probably the biggest thing from what I was watching this morning is that what I would say is that fair value gaps, that stuff, all that kind of stuff. So even breaking down the 15-minute candle, you understand the power of three and whatever, but just having a little bit of direction of how to actually look at it and go, okay, because so that's one thing. The biggest thing that I would say the takeaway is, first off, is what you have on your chart. Because when regular trading hours happens, yes, I realize that you can look at fair value gaps from electronic trading hours. I realize all of that kind of stuff, and you can do that. But what I'm telling you is that what I've seen is I never once had electronic trading hours on any of this whatsoever. And so, because I don't see a need for it unless I'm trying to go, okay, I'm so far away. Let me get an idea for where 9 a.m. for value gap is. But even from that perspective, from back testing the 15 or the trading a 15-minute candle at the open, it's not relevant. But so you can have it on there, but I'm telling you that from my perspective, being able to get to the point where you can see through whatever else you want to have on your chart, you have to be able to see through to be able to trade trade the New York opening session, the New York AM, and being able to weed through the chop and weed through it to be able to trade more than just internal range liquidity, meaning from here to here, to be able to trade more than just that, to get outside of that and trade external range liquidity outside of that. In my opinion, you need to be able to get to the point where you can see through all of the other stuff that you have in your chart and see what's happening regular trading hours. So that's the number one thing that I would say to begin with. The what was the second ththing I was going to say? So the second thing I was going to say was basically what I touched on a little bit, is that now this today was not the biggest run, but remember what I just talked about right here? Let's look at something right here. Let's go 15-second chart. Come on, big mama. Dude, I gotta go take a piss. Whew. Here's 15-minute opening price. Trades up, relative equal highs. This is 1 minute. This is 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute. This is 1 minute candle. We wait for the second candle to close. Takes out relative equal highs, changing the state of delivery. There, trades up into gap, and she gone. So now look at this. God, I gotta take a piss. Ugh. I'm gonna take all this shit off here. I'm gonna make this. Remember this 9:30 open. That's the beginning of the 15-minute open. Look at it that way. Okay. Remember, this is a 15-second chart. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 minute. This by God, I got it. I'm gonna piss. Hold on. All right, I'm back. No wonder I felt like my life was falling apart. I had to piss, and I hadn't had a fake gay boy dip in my entire video. Anyway, so this is the 15-minute open. Trades up into whatever. It doesn't matter. Here's, like I was telling you. So 1, 15, 30, 45, 60. New candle right here. 30, 15, 30, 45 second, 60. Third candle. 15, 30, 45, boom. So we've gone up and manipulated, and now you get the gist, right? So let's go to the 1 minute. What I'm telling you is no different than what I was looking at right here. Opening price. You can't just, I mean, you have to use a little bit of common sense with it, but here's the opening candle. Here's the high, low. Trades up above the opening price, manipulates, closes below it, change in the state of delivery, up close, sell. Or not up close. Trades up into that, sell. Now, see, look right here. Opening price, trades up and manipulates, body trades down below the opening price, body close below that candle. Boom. Boom. First candle. Second candle. Nothing to do yet. Nothing's closed below either one of these. This closes. Nothing's been taken out there. Nothing's been taken out there or closed below yet. But we have now this third candle. Now we've closed below the opening price and we have a change in the state of delivery. So what I'm telling you is is that 9 times out of 10, because the opening is very volatile, I mean, even right that there. So let's just go back here. So, right? Yeah. So 9:30 open is our change in the state of delivery. I'm trying to figure out how to not make this so confusing. It's not confusing for you. It's just so you can see it easier. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We wait for let's say we wait for 4 candles to close. Okay? So let's go to the 15-second chart. So that would be 4 candles closed. That would be 16 15-second candles, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We wait for 16 candles to close, and then we go, what should we do? Keep in mind, this black line and this black line is the high and low of the first 1 minute candle. This is the opening price. So we've gone up, manipulated, traded below, traded closed below the low of the opening of this first candle, created a gap because our first presented fair value gap is in the fourth candle. So when this guy opens, whatever, anything above this jamming up in there, it's sell to whatever it'll give you. But again, as I was telling you, it's like it might be to there, it might be to whatever. But this is what I was telling you is that if you understand and can trade the 15-minute, like the opening of the 15-minute candle, like, the whatever, this is not very much. Those numbers that I had on my chart or on my pad that I sent you, by looking at this, now sometimes I had entries, sometimes you had manipulation that was like 10 or 11 candles, so you'd be like 11 minutes into it before, so then you'd have to look at it and go, okay, now I'm below the opening price and I have a change in the state of delivery, so I might hold off until I'm coming into the next changeover to the 9:45 candle. You might wait, but the number of times that something that's fairly obvious after in the third, fourth, or fifth candle, that if you just sell it or buy it based on this premise of open, manipulate, open, Judas swing, trade back down below the opening price, sell off, or open, trade below the price, manipulate, get above the opening price, trade back down to it, and rally. The amount of times that happens in the first 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, where if you just put one on and go, I'm going to enter here, my stop's going to go above the high, and we're going to let it rip. The number of this 50 candles in 3 minutes is on the lower end of what this usually would yield. The majority of them are closer to 100 handles, and a lot of times they're 100 handles, and sometimes it'll be one candle, but sometimes it will be if you enter like that and treat it like that, a lot of times you're going to be so far below your entry price that you can sit and wait and go, I'm going to move my stop down to a reasonable area for my stop. So even if I get stopped out, I still have a great profit. And then I'm going to now I'm going to look at the next 15-minute candle. Where's the opening price? Wait for manipulation. I'm going to expect it to manipulate up towards, potentially, depending on where my draw is, up towards my price. So I'm going to may have a little bit more, not necessarily draw down, but I'm going to lose a little bit of fake profit before it goes back below its opening price and then sells off even more. But this is the premise of what I'm talking about, which is the same thing that I was looking at here. So just for shits and giggles, look at yesterday. Well, yeah, yesterday obviously ripped, but let me show you something here. Watch. knowing what I'm telling you and knowing where buy side is, and if you had other octants on here and whatever else, 9:30 open, trades down. Again, I'm still regular trading hours. Weird. 1 minute inversion fair value gap. 15-minute open. Let's get this stupid. Let's get this line off here. I don't know what that is from here. So what did we do yesterday? Bullshit, 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 bullshit. This is the current NWOG. Don't quite take it out during the electronic trading hour session. Remember in between here and here, in between this close and this open, we have hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of electronic trading. Who gives a shit? If this opens right here, then this obviously has been, even though we opened right there, you can assume this buy side has been purged. So what would you expect it to do? Trade back down into a discount. If it's going to go higher, it's more than likely going to trade down into a discount where some sort of a PD array below equilibrium. I don't have my 5-minute or my 15-minute high and low on here, but trade the if you have, again, here's another one that where you have a small opening range gap, which makes it very, very, very nice. NWOG takes out buy side, trades down into a discount. Regular trading hours, inversion fair value gap. What else do we have? Opening price of the 15-minute chart, trades down, manipulates, back up, change in the state of delivery. I don't care what you need to look at, whatever, find over here. But, you would have I'm looking at the 1 minute chart, but even if all you did was go, okay, you could, it depends on there's a change in the state of delivery right here. So I'm not trying to tell you how to trade or where to take entries or whatever. You get the point. If you had, let me put it this way. Yes, so don't think that just because you have to go back and back test it. Yes, we had a candle close below the low of this first wick, but don't let that confuse you. Or don't let that throw you off. What matters is opening price, manipulation, and then distribution. So look at this as Judas swing. So just because it closed below that, that just means that it put two candles down in here into a regular trading hours inversion fair value gap, and then trades. So right here, you can look at it and go, this is where you just have to. There's certain parts of it where you have to go. Okay, I realize that ICT gives you rules. He gives you rules, but once you get to a certain point where you know what's actually happening fractally, you can you can decide if you want to uh move beyond the rules of ICT, or the rules that he gives beginning students. So if we look at this right here, and let's take, this was the low of this, so I'm going to make this, I'm going to make it smaller and red, and then this is our opening range gap. So let's do the same thing. Can you see how now, where you wouldn't necessarily need to wait for it to get above that price on the 1 minute chart? Once you have that, knowing what we're looking for is manipulation either below the 15-minute open price or above the 15-minute open price. Knowing what we're looking for is manipulation. And then we're looking for any sort of idea to get into a trade going the opposite direction of it. Or we're going to wait a little bit longer we're not going to get manipulation, but then manipulation is going to happen in here, and then it's going to go this way. Now, sometimes that happens, but I'm giving you the basics of what I'm telling you right now. So this is the 15-minute chart. Obviously, you can see here's our change in the state of delivery. So there's your buy right there. And again, let's just use our standard deal. Let's do this. We go long there. Stop. Just put your stop below the low. 32 handle stop. But before you even have time to say yes, no, or stop or whatever, you're already going, while you're still worrying about, oh shit, that's a 32 handle stop, it's already so far outside of your world that you don't even know what to think. So, anyway. So, there you go. That's all I got for now. So, all right. We'll talk to you later, buddy.